when we talk about thinking, when we talk about consciousness, when we talk about the mind and creativity, we basically talk about psychological properties. Okay? So addressing the issues you're writing in your books from a psychological and psychiatric perspective, I would like to make 3 or 4 comments. The first one is, when we talk about consciousness currently, we're basically talking about a consciousness which is ego attached. It's just a personal consciousness. The process of self-reflection, what you've been describing in your books, has, from a psychological perspective, at least 2 limits. The first one, an ego-attached consciousness, is not the last step in evolution. There is something beyond. Second, self-reflection, and this is empirical knowledge we have now since 100 years, coming from psychology, is biased from the very beginning. You know, the perception of coherence, the perception of logic consistency, is a personal form of self-references which is biased by countertransference, which is biased by priming, which is biased by framing aspects, which is biased by psychopathology in you and me, in us. First comment. Second comment. All of us know the paper of C.P. Snow's on the 2 cultures of hermeneutics and science, basically framing the way we address the reality. With big data, I would like to ask the question, is there a 3rd culture basically coming up, affecting with a big feedback loop on the brain, on the mind, on the society, and on nature? Third comment. In your books, you're writing that the idea of letting go or detaching from the mind is actually not possible. I think clinically, medically it is. We have empirical data and historical evidence that there is at least 4 to 5 techniques from psychology where you can detach from your mind. One is long-lasting silence. Second is fasting. Third is mantras, repetitive mantras, and 4th is mindful-based meditation. Last comment. In your book, Deep Thinking, you're referring often to and associate deep thinking with the idea of complementarity, like keeping the opposites and containing the opposites in the mind. This is very common and a very common thinking. We know this from energy and matter. We know this from yin and yang and all these opposites complementarities. This is true. However, if you look at it from an evolutionary and developmental perspective, complementarity, symmetric complementarity is not enough. We know there have been 2 Nobel Prizes given the last 10 years in astrophysics, and this is also true on a societal and trivial level. What's required is not only complementarity. What's required basically is a subtle but distinctive and significant asymmetry in the opposing qualities and properties in order to move on in evolution and to move on in development. Thank you very much.